This was a question that I got. It was, what do I do around my money wounds? I've been hurt when it comes to money. How do I get over that? And how do I go from here to thriving? I'm Dr. Latifat. I'm a GI doctor, mama of three little ladies, founder of MoneyFit MD, which is where we teach women physicians how to lead their money and grow their wealth. If you're finding us for the first time, I'm so glad you're here. I want you to say thank you to whoever it was that shared the link of our podcast with you because you are in for a treat. So, what am I talking about today? I am talking about this experience where a physician is having some struggles around money. And the thing about it is, this is not a woman that is bad with money. This is a woman that is starting to notice certain things that she's doing around money. And I'll give you an example of what that could look like. That could look like maybe you've trusted someone around your finances and they have caused you injury around money. It could be a spouse, it could be a significant other, it may be a bad deal you made, it may be an investment that did not go well. But here is what you are finding yourself doing as a result. You're finding yourself being more careful, and not more careful as in cautious, but to almost an extreme where you're starting to avoid financial decisions. You are second guessing every decision that you're making. You have the story in your head of, I cannot trust myself, or how can I trust myself after I did da da da? How can I trust another human when someone else did da da da? And I've seen this come up with relationship. Maybe someone, your ex-spouse, your ex-husband, did something where you trusted them with the finances, only to find out that they actually had accumulated debt that you did not know about. Or maybe it was even in the process of, and I've seen this happen so many times, where in divorce proceedings, maybe the woman who had more of the emotional ties to the property or the house was like, well, I'll take the house. And your spouse is like, well, you'll take the house, and they put a value on it and they take the stocks and all of that stuff. And now that you're learning, you're like, oh my goodness, I made the wrong choice. Like, I should have not, like, I not only they got the assets, you got the liability, let's just say, right? And now you're like, how am I supposed to trust someone else? Or maybe you actually bought an investment property and things did not go how you planned that it would go. You bought it right before the market crash. You bought it, and now you got into trouble. So anything that compromises your ability to trust yourself, you are waking up in the middle of the night. You're like, oh, looking at your bank account in the middle of the night, or you're carrying an emergency fund that is way bigger than you know is reasonable. So you're under investing because you're like, well, I cannot rely on anybody. Like, where am I going to go? What am I going to trust if da, da, da? If this is you, that is what wounds around money could look like, right? There are more traumatic ones, and I'm not going into details about those. I'm not a therapist. I'm not your therapist. You may need to talk to a therapist if it's like crazy deep, but there are injury that can happen on a level that may not feel so deep, but can actually have implications when it comes to how you are doing your finances. And so that's what I want to talk about on today's episode. That is what it would look like. It's interesting, as someone that does real estate, bought real estate, will buy real estate. One of the most nerve-wracking times in real estate for me is when you're about to close and you're doing the transfer of the funds. I triple, quadruple, 5 billion times check, right? And I know there was someone that had shared that they were scammed at the place of exchange. And so you can see how I heard it. I'm learning, I'm cautious, but for her, next time, the second time she does a transaction, you can see how her heart rate can actually go up a little bit, because it's like, am I about to lose this money again? Right? I don't know the details. I don't know what ended up happening, if we're able to get anything back from there. But the bottom line is, you can see how previous mistakes, previous or past experiences, past mishaps from other people can cause you to stop living in freedom can start to cost you money because you're now under investing, you are hoarding, you are not sleeping well at night, you are delegating to other people. I see it when it comes to like financial advisors, because maybe you made one mistake 20 years ago. You're like, I cannot trust myself ever again when it comes to money. And so now you are putting all of your I'm not even going to say delegation, but you're abdicating to somebody else completely. Like, this may be signs of wounds that you have experienced when it comes to money. Okay. And if that's you, first of all, I just want to like send you virtual hugs right now and just let you know that you are not the only one. And in fact, some of you guys are listening to this and you're like, I had no idea that was what was going on. I remember speaking with a physician that was interested in joining Wealth Village, and Wealth Village is our 12-month program coaching community for women physicians that are building wealth and creating their lives of freedom. And so when she came in for her, she was like, I'm great at everything. Like, I'm a badass in every area except for my finances. And a part of what was causing her to hold back was the fact that she had, her spouse had done certain things when it came to finances that hurt her deeply. And so she was hiding even from her own finances because it's like, well, I cannot be trusted. I did not choose the right person to be trusted. And so this person had an advisor that she abdicated everything to, because again, there was an avoidance that was going on from her. And I remember when I met with her, I mean, there was some of the stuff that she did not necessarily connect the dots completely. And when I did a consultation with her, listened to what she had going on, I'm like, okay, this is what's going on. But in order for you to be able to move forward and really be able to live in freedom, there are certain things that you would need to do. And part of that is what I'm sharing in this episode, so that my hope is this will help you be free, because part of the benefits of doing this work, it's not only going to show up in your finances, it also actually can affect your relationships. Because now it's like, well, if I cannot trust myself, number one, your relationship with yourself is fractured. If I cannot trust other people, your relationship with other people is fractured. And I don't know about you, but it's impossible for you to hold someone down and not be down with them. So either way, it affects you directly or indirectly, which is why it's important for you to get the support you need, do the work that you need to do in order for you to be able to live life and live life freely. Okay. So what is underneath this? What is beneath all of this? And I'm going to share it with you right now. The truth is this: the main thing that you have to do, and if you don't do this, if you don't acknowledge this, regardless of your faith, regardless of your beliefs, is that there is unforgiveness that may be lying beneath the surface. There is unforgiveness. And when I say unforgiveness, it's not just you forgiving other people, but sometimes it may have to be you forgiving yourself. So for example, if you are the one that made the mistake, you did what you knew to do in the circumstances that you had with the best of the ability that you had, right? You may have learned, because hindsight is 2020. There may be some things that you can take now from the past and apply into the future. But the truth is this: did you intentionally get up and say, I'm going to like screw up my finances today? Did you intentionally say, I'm going to pick the person to not trust? No, you made mistakes. And what I want you to ask yourself is this: what would you tell your 8-year-old version? What would you tell your 6-year-old version? Will you say she tried? I mean, she did not mean to cause harm to herself. And you would say, just let it go, forgive yourself. Because that's what is beneath the surface, is that you are not leveraging your own ability to forgive yourself completely. You are not leveraging your own ability to forgive the other person completely. And until you do, this will continue to feel like an ouchie. This will continue to feel like a wound. And I want you to understand that the things that I'm talking about, it's not even about them. I'm talking about you. I don't care about them. I don't know them. They're not my business. You are my business, potentially, right? And so I want you to understand that you have to work on letting this go. And what I tell people is forgiveness is a habit. If you're someone that has not practiced forgiving enough, then this is an opportunity for you to become better at practicing forgiving. And forgiving is letting go, does not mean that they're justified, does not mean they were in the right. It means that you have just decided that the past is not worth fighting over again. Because every time you fight with the past, we can't change the past. We can change the story, but we cannot change the actual past. So that's why I'm challenging you to ask yourself, like, what story are you telling yourself that needs to be changed? All of us are imperfect. I'm going to mess up. I've messed up. I will mess up. But the gauge really is, did I try my best? Did I do the best that I could with the information that I had, with the knowledge that I have, and the time that I have, and all of that? And the answer is yes, then we need to move on. So the main under the surface thing is the forgiveness factor that you're going to have to leverage. And some of you guys are going to say, well, no, I've forgiven. But if you're still being held back, if your behavior, if your habits has not changed, it means that there may be still another layer of forgiveness that you need to lean into. One of the things that I like to remind physicians is the difference between you at this net worth versus you at a zero to that net worth may be the ability for you to move forward faster. And in order to move forward faster, it means that you're acknowledging that mistakes will happen, errors will happen, but you're not going to sit down and like keep cutting yourself. You're not going to sit back and keep like hurting yourself. You're not going to keep holding back or standing back and saying unkind words to that version of yourself that tried her best with the information she had with the limitations of being a human being. So one of the things, and I'm going to make this even more practical, as someone that loves investment and understands that investment is the key to freedom, it's not debt obsession, it's not spending obsession, investment. And that's why in the Wealth Village, that's one of the things that we focus on is like ownership, stewardship, like the assets. Yes, that's one of the things, like, and it's you as an asset, your life as an asset, buying and growing asset, creating assets. Like these are the things that we help people put into practice inside of the Wealth Village. And one of the things that is essential when you invest in is you're going to have to partner with people, especially if you want to invest outside of the stock market. And even investment in the stock market is partnering with people. You just don't know the people that you're investing in. But when you're doing things like real estate, for example, if I'm going to invest even in active real estate, I have to, I'm partnering with an agent. I'm partnering with, maybe a contractor. I'm partnering with a designer. Like there are people that you're partnering with, the bank or title companies and all of that. And there is a chance that someone on your team may screw up or mess up. If you're doing like passive investment and you're trusting people to help manage and apply your money, you are going to end up investing with someone that's not going to go in the direction that you want. And in fact, that version of you that has the extra zero behind their net worth, the difference is that they know that they have to move forward and that mistakes will happen, losses will happen, but the goal is for the gains to outweigh the losses. So if you're investing in 5 things, if they're investing in, say, 5 companies, they understand that 2 of them may actually not go well, but they're betting and hoping that the 3 that they invest in will do aggressively well to the point where the money they lost in the other 2 is gained by this other 3. That's why we diversify. That's why you diversify where you invest in. That's why you diversify your operators. That's why you diversify your market, right? So these are the practical things that we can do to decrease the chance of significant loss or harm. But after you've done things, you've applied wisdom, when outcomes that you don't want still happens, you have to understand that this is part of the journey. This is part of the journey. In fact, yesterday, I'm recording this on a Friday. Yesterday, Thursday, inside of the Wealth Village, I shared my 7 wealth principles, meaning these are not theory. This is like how I have invested my own money and the principles that guides how I invest. There are principles And because I have those principles, I don't have to guess why I'm saying yes or why I'm saying no to certain things in certain seasons. And so for me, I was sharing that yesterday with some of the women physicians inside of the Wealth Village. And part of the things that we're talking about is that it's like you have to know what your philosophy around wealth and investment is. But even that is not going to be like perfect. It's a guide. It's sort of like when a patient comes to you in clinic and they have abdominal pain and you have a way that you evaluate it. Will you have some misses? Yes. But you cannot be the surgeon that one error will cause you to stop doing surgery forever. And now because of one error, you miss out on the potential of impacting thousands of people. Right? So it is critically important for you to, and I know I'm spending a lot of time on this, but it is important that we spend time on it because there is consequences to you not moving forward. There's consequences to you avoiding investing. There's consequences to you not making financial decisions again because of one mistake. Like mistakes will happen. Losses will happen. This is how we define an attendee, attending. And an attendee or attending is not one that has never made a mistake before, is one that made mistakes, learned from it, and is able to figure out and say what they would do better, what they would do differently. You know, on our call recently inside of the Wealth Village, and I'm bringing this up because that's why these communities are crazy, important, valuable, and critical if you want to grow your wealth. One of the women was talking about an investment that she had and some of the lessons that she's learned going forward. Right? This is how success leaves clues. That's why wealth is not done in isolation. Because when you're in rooms like this, you're learning from yourself, you're learning from others too. And so she was like, these are the things that I learned. Well, there's no way I could have anticipated this. This is the macroeconomic stuff. Now, micro, like these are key things that you have to know, learn, and this is how we get wisdom. So my darling that is listening to this right now, I want you to take a deep breath and understand that you are not hopeless. This is not a hopeless situation. You are not undeserving of being trusted again. Yes, there are lessons that you can learn, and this is the tuition that you've paid, but it's time to let the wound heal. One of the doctors that I shared her example earlier, when when I had a conversation with her and we found out that spouse, and when it came to like finances and wound and injury, and we worked, she was with us, she's one of our alums now, she worked with us inside of the Wealth Village, and she was able to take ownership of her finances. She fired her financial advisors, partnered with another advisor that's more in line with, that respects her brain and can partner with her as a CEO of her finances. But she recently messaged me and said, guess what? She's now seeing that she's able to welcome new relationships into her life because she has done this work. And the point of this is not, just so I can be in a good relationship, but it's so that you can just be healthier, so that you can be open to better, healthy relationships with yourself, better, healthy relationships with money, better, healthy relationships with others, which may include a significant other. So as we come to the end of this episode, I just want to give you some of the reframes that I think I've kind of talked about, but I want to extract out from this from you, which is number one, you're not God. You're not perfect. I'm not perfect. We will make mistakes. But what you don't want to do is hold yourself down with the past, because then it's not just now about your history. It's now about you bringing it and rehurting yourself and bringing that memory up over and over and over again. And literally you're refreshing. It's like picking at a scab. You are picking at a scab. And when you do that, healing does not come, right? So make the decision that you are no longer going to pick at the scab. Make the decision that you are a badass. You are someone that learns from the past and you apply it as wisdom. There was something that we did 2 years ago. An oversight, honestly, was so minor. It cost us 5-figure. And I could have made up a story that I cannot be trusted. I make mistakes, blah, 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 blah. But instead I said, I'm going to get the ROI from this. I'm going to get my return on investment. My return on the learning, ROI, You can call it ROL or whatever you want to call it. And so I decided that I was going to make the 5 figures back. And how did I make the 5 figures back? I told people so that they can also avoid the same mistakes. And if one person can avoid that mistake, I've gotten my own ROL or ROI on that experience. So let that be the story. Let that be change the story that you tell, and let it add to your wisdom instead of like being a scab that you're picking up. That's number one. Number two thing that I want you to reframe is this: I am building wealth. The only person, there are people in this world that will sit down and judge you for the mistakes that you make. And those people that are going to sit down and judge you for the mistakes that you made are those that will never achieve greatness. Because here's the deal: when I do things that I'm like, oh, why did I do that? When I'm in a room of like-minded, wealth-minded, growth-minded people, they're like, oh, sure, you lost 5 figures. I've lost 6 figures. I've lost multiple 6 figures. Like, those are the conversations that are happening. And so it's important for you to know that in your journey to wealth building, it is not a question of if, it is a question of when. You are going to do things that will cost you money, but I want you to start to think about that as an opportunity to reinforce a healthier, deeper, healthier relationship with money, a deeper, healthier relationship with yourself, which is a demonstration of the love that you have for yourself and the kindness that you're showing for yourself. So I'm going to end this here because I did not want this episode to be too long, but I want you to ask yourself right now, who do I need to forgive? It may be you, it may be someone else. Number two is, how can I take my relationship with myself to a next level? And number three is, what would freedom look like? If I was living in freedom, if I believe that this will work out for my good regardless in future, if I keep on going, what action would you take? So that's what I have for you. I'm rooting for you. And if you're a woman physician, you want to be surrounded by women that are having conversations like this, wealth-minded, growth-minded, kind, no shame, learning from each other so that we can all as a collective get ROI from anything else that everyone else that's happening to everyone else. Check out moneyfitmg.com/wealth village. You'll learn about what we are, who we are, and how you can apply. And we will look at it, get on a consultation call, and see if this is the right community for you. I love you. I'm rooting for you. And if this episode has been helpful, can you please do me a favor? Leave us a review on whatever platform you're listening on, whether it's Apple, Spotify, Google, whatever it is. Leave us a review. We would love to hear. It really makes a whole lot of difference. And don't forget to share this with one more woman physician that could benefit. We are on a mission to change the game when it comes to money and wealth building for women physicians. And you, my darling, are a part of that. So thank you for the work you do. Thank you for spreading the wealth. Thank you for sharing. And thank you for leaving us a review. I love you. And I'll see you in the next episode. Goodbye.